Let's talk about this psychotic a-hole from MSNBC. This MSNBC guest that took on the Pilgrims and really America yesterday. Left-wing race-baiting MSNBC host Tiffany Cross handed over the essay portion of a recent episode of her Cross Connection to a favorite guest so that he could share, as the show Chiron blared, quote, the real history of Thanksgiving in America, unquote. And I'm sure their audience was really pleased to hear Gayassi Ross launch into an anti-white tirade, and he tried to shred the mythology of Thanksgiving and accused the Pilgrims of bringing only genocide and violence, and declaring that minorities are still waiting for white Americans to bring some value.
Wow.
That's amazing. I mean, that is amazing. Yeah, white Americans have brought no value to this country at all. I mean, that's pretty clear. Ross wasted no time in jumping into his racial attacks on whites and Thanksgiving. But this is perfectly fine, I guess, to have this racist babble about how terrible white people are.
Of course it is.
And how bad America is. He said the mythology of Thanksgiving closely mirrors the mythology of America. That mythology is the image that white Americans love to see of themselves. That mythological image of whiteness, in his mind, is one of benevolent white settlers coming to a strange land in good faith and bringing something of great value that enriches the people who are already there. And the natives in the Thanksgiving story also offer something of immense value to the myth, Ross continued, equal exchange. That, according to the thinking of this guy, closely mimics the mythology of white America. It's how America wants to see itself. But he sees the truth of America is quite different. After noting that the Pilgrims did not bring turkey, like anybody doesn't know that. Really? Do we really not know that? Sweet potato pie or cranberries to the Thanksgiving dinner.
You mean they didn't stop off at the Walmart on the way?
No. Well, they couldn't. As he correctly points out, they were broke. Yes. Yes. Ross went on to explain what the Pilgrims actually did bring to Thanksgiving.
Oh.
So buckle up for this. Okay. Instead of bringing stuffing and biscuits, those settlers brought genocide and violence. Did they? That genocide and violence is still on the menu, as state-sponsored violence against Native and Black Americans is commonplace, and violent white supremacy is celebrated and subsidized. I just can't take it. He went on to list minorities who have been murdered by those paid to protect us. White Americans are still killing Native and Black Americans with no fear of reprisal. What? Seriously? Let's look at the numbers there and see which ethnicity kills more of another ethnicity and which doesn't. Because I think you might be a tad mistaken on that.
There's some fluctuations in the numbers?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Also, the Pilgrims are really the only entity who ever kept every treaty, literally, every treaty they ever made with the Indians. They never violated in 50 or 60 years. Not once did they violate one of their treaties with Indians, with the Native Americans.
I don't know that I knew that.
They did. They were not violent. They were not genocidal. They did not try to kill the Indians. They actually got along pretty well with the Native Americans. And, you know, here's a group of people that, they didn't bring turkey to the first Thanksgiving. They were starving to death. Jeez. That first winter killed over half of them. Over half. It killed, I think it was 3 out of 4 of every mother. 75% of all the mothers among the Pilgrims were dead after the first year.
So there were no charging stations or anything anywhere where they could just plug in and heat up?
No, there really weren't. And yet, when Captain Jones wanted to get back on the Mayflower and sail back to Great Britain or Holland, where they actually came from, he asked the Pilgrims to come with him. He's like, okay, we tried. It didn't work. Look how many of us died. It's just this is too brutal. We can't, the winters are too cold, the summers are too hot. Let's go. Let's leave. And do you know how many pilgrims went with him? Went back? 0. Not one. Not one pilgrim went back, took him up on it, and left back on the Mayflower.
They were the survivors, man. They were, let's go.
Right. That's right. And they were committed to this, and they were committed to building something really special here, which they did. And they did not commit genocide on the native population. That was not pilgrims. They did not do that. The lies have to stop. They just have to stop. And it's amazing that the lies just get propagated and promoted on MSNBC and CNN. It's despicable. It's despicable. I don't know how they're allowed to continue to do it. Somebody has to step up and say, do you want to stop with the lies? You want to maybe, I don't know, look into this a little bit. Read some history. Stop with the listening to just these radical left-wing extremists. I mean, every white person is bad.
Oh, yes.
And every white person, listen to this guy. He would commit genocide if he could, I think, on the white race. If he could eliminate the white race, he would.
And he's not alone.
No, he's not. No, that's true.
He's not alone these days.
It's absolutely right.
Because there of things like this being promoted, it certainly spreads the lies and the evil hate.
Right.
Clearly.
Yeah.
I mean, it's disgusting.
And to do it on Thanksgiving or right before Thanksgiving, it's despicable.